everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Asher, and if you've never visited my channel before, then thanks for stopping by. It's a big day today. I have now been taking testosterone for 1 whole year, and I can't believe it sometimes. I now have had top surgery, and I am about 5 weeks post-op and doing super well. That's why I've got my t-shirt open a little bit, just because I haven't been able to in so long, and so to finally be able to do that, I really want to take advantage of that. Everything's super good. I have really thin scars. My nipple grafts have taken, and I'm slowly but surely getting my range of motion back. So all that's really good. Over the last year, I have truly become very happy and have far more euphoric days than dysphoric days. There are days I feel down because, let's face it, I am human, but often it's not due to my transition at all. If anything, it's just general day-to-day stressors, and I wouldn't call them depression days anymore. I don't think I have nearly the lows that I used to. I have far more 7 and 8 out of 10 days, and in the past it was more like 4s and 5s. When I am about to be due for my shot, though, I definitely am moodier, I'm less able to emotionally regulate, and that lasts for about a week and a half before my next shot. And around that time, I'm probably more in like a 5 to 6 out of 10 range. So generally, with that emotional regulation, being autistic, the ability to do that is already a tough one for me, especially if I've socialized past the point that I know I should. And then it takes me several days to recharge. I really need to work on that in general. But in terms of handling stress, I think I'm doing really well, all things considered. I feel like my ADHD symptoms have increased, though, which is really interesting. In terms of fidgetiness and restlessness and inattention and forgetlessness and interrupting others, it's simply become more prominent. I've always done these things to some extent, but I've been able to mask it, and that ability has greatly diminished. I don't know if this is because of hormones per se, or if it's because of the improved confidence that I've had. I don't feel as insecure and unsure of myself, therefore the fear and the second-guessing nature that drove the masking is just becoming a lot less impactful. And I think that's the key, really, is confidence. When you know yourself, and then you're finally able to align what you know with what you see and how you're perceived, the dysphoria one experiences becomes a lot less prominent. This is why gender affirmative care is the recommended and approved approach around the world to treat gender dysphoria, because it's the only treatment that works in the long run. That doesn't always mean medically, though. For many, it can be just gender bending and socially transitioning and being respected as their preferred name and pronoun and gender. But for others like myself, gender bending, name change, and pronouns, it just wasn't enough. And I can finally look in the mirror now and smile. And that's a brand new experience for me. Now, let's face it, some people might come in and try to comment and say that there will always be something, and that being trans and transitioning doesn't fix depression or anxiety. Some even say that depression and anxiety is what causes you to be trans, which is absolutely ridiculous and entirely untrue. Transitioning, in fact, is proven to reduce depression and anxiety if that depression and anxiety was actually wrapped around being transgender, which a lot of times it does have an effect. But transitioning doesn't necessarily fix it. You still have to do things and develop positive coping mechanisms that are healthy with those things in order to improve it, but saying that it causes transness is entirely untrue. As for there always being something, for me, also untrue. And for a lot of trans people, they just have particular areas of dysphoria, and some experience it more strongly than others. For me, my chest area, my voice, the menses, some lower area issues, my general body structure, and fat redistribution were all major areas of dysphoria. And all of which are improving every day now that I am medically transitioning. My top surgery is complete. My voice is settling into a register I am definitely happy with. Menses have stopped. The lower area I don't really like to talk about. Fat redistribution is an ongoing process, and really the rest can only be controlled with diet and exercise, which testosterone helps with in terms of building muscle in the areas that have caused me dysphoria. And then there are the changes that I was kind of looking forward to if they would have happened, but I didn't necessarily feel were detrimental to my experience of dysphoria or euphoria. And in fact, have actually surprised me with how much extra euphoria I experience out of it, like the facial hair. I never knew how much I would love it, and now I almost feel naked without it. So I don't really like to shave it completely off, because then I really don't feel like myself. Like, I just cleaned it up today, for the video, but I don't like to get rid of it entirely. It's me. And I look in the mirror and I'm like, wow, there I am. And so I refuse to get rid of it. So anyway, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. I want to get into things via actual categories that get listed on tables and lists. So I'll actually put one right here as an example of the table that usually gets used regarding expectations on when you start testosterone. So the very first thing I'm going to talk about is my voice, which, if you've watched me from the beginning, has significantly changed over the last year. So before starting testosterone, when I tried to drop my voice, my lowest range was on an average pitch of 150.4 hertz, and my average volume was 62.5 decibels. Now, the environment around that time, whenever I did the recording, was reading at 48.5 decibels, leaving a 4.0 decibel deviation, which would be my more true volume control at the time. And today, if you look at this picture here, it's actually at 109.8 hertz with a volume of 57.4 decibels. The environment was 53.4 decibels, leaving a 3.9 decibel deviation. The chart I use also has a percentage of male versus female, and now it sits squarely in the 99th percentile of male. So I'm definitely euphoric about that. Much, much happier. So the next subject we have is body hair, which has spread all the way up my legs to a happy trail, or snail trail. I've got some light and dark mix of hairs along my tummy, and some small hairs are starting to sprout on my chest and shoulders. The facial hair has really been coming in beautifully. And as I said earlier, I tend to trim it down every couple of weeks to stimulate the follicles. But I pretty much now have that solid chin strap going all the way around. The lightish blonde mustache, which you can kind of make out the shadow in the video here. And I refuse to shave that. I shaved it once when my mom came to visit me in December, and I hated it. And it took so long to grow back in. I don't want to risk it again. I know I should shave it to stimulate those thicker roots to come in a bit more full, but yeah, I won't do it. I do have the outline. I shaved it off because it is so sparse. I do have that outline starting up higher on my chin, so it's starting to come up here. The little spot under here, which I did shave off today because I do want that to come in a little bit better, but it was super, super light. And then there's the bit that connects the chin strap to the mustache, and that's really starting to come in. But again, I took it off because it's really light blonde and a bit sparse. So overall, super, super stoked. Apparently, I have grown in facial hair faster than I guess some trans men see. I don't know how true that is. It's just been like the anecdotal evidence from like the Facebook trans male Facebook groups that I'm on, and I'll post a picture and they'll be like, whoa, your facial hair is really coming in. I don't know if that's because of Reandron and it being a depot shot and only being once every 12 weeks, so your body absorbs it at the rate it naturally wants to absorb it, or and other people are on gel, which we know in the total length of time you'll still get the same results in the same length of time as being on injections. You just might not see the results as quickly initially, like your onset might not be as quick. But yeah, so I don't know where the differences are in that. I don't know if it's just my genetics. I know that my dad has a full beard. So I don't know. Everything else about me is my father. So it's quite possible that I'm taking after him, because again, I want to talk a tiny bit of science here, because everybody talks about how a lot of your transition has to do with your genetics. Things like balding and facial hair and whatnot comes from your mother's side. But really what it is those genetic markers travel on an X chromosome. So if you're a trans man that does have two X's, you have a 50-50 shot of either getting your mother's genetic markers or your father's genetic markers. And apparently I got my dad's, from what I'm seeing so far. So yeah, and I have more evidence of that with my hairline. So let's talk about hair loss a little bit. My hairline has started to recede a tiny bit in the upper corners of the hairline, like up here, which is just like my dad. And the texture has changed a little. Nothing else has really changed that much. Like my hair growth is the same. I'm not really losing any more hair than would be normal to lose on a daily basis. I don't know if that's because of the hair supplements I take or because of the hair growth shampoo that I use as a preventative method, so I don't lose a lot of hair. I don't know. But yeah, the little bit that I lose, they say that a normal individual with no major hair loss would lose 100 hairs a day. That's just over, whether showering or combing your hair or just general like loss when you're walking around. And I wouldn't say that I'm losing more than that at this stage. So the onset of hair loss is, the data says, typically 12 months and beyond. The maximum effect obviously is going to vary. So it's now been 12 months. I haven't lost a lot of hair yet. So we'll see what happens going forward, really. The next subject we have is the Adam's apple, which we don't have any data for. This is anecdotal only, and is not on that list that I put up earlier. So yeah, we don't actually have any real data other than what most trans men report. So for me, I have no visible Adam's apple at this stage. Not that I can really tell anyway. It may be that when I lose more weight and my neck thins out, then it'll become more prominent, but maybe not. And I can feel that it's there. Yeah, you can't really see it. And I'm a little disappointed at that. But not all men have visible Adam's apples, so it's okay in the end, really. It's not something I was super dysphoric about anyway. It just would have been kind of cool. So next we have bone density. We don't have any real evidence except for anecdotal evidence. And I wish that there was more evidence, but I can say from my own experience, my face has definitely changed shape from both body fat redistribution, and I also think bone thickening, like through the brow and through all of this area, at least so my wife says. I think some of the other evidence of maybe the bone changing is snoring. Actually, I very rarely snored before starting T, and now apparently I snore a lot. And I'd really like to see studies about deviated septums and comparing it to people before T and after T. Does it get worse from the bone thickening? Does it cause a narrowing of the passageways? We don't know. but it'd be really interesting to find out because I am experiencing that and it's really strange. Okay, we also have the bit that I don't really like to talk about, which is clitoral enlargement. I am gonna put up the onset and maximum effect just for informational purposes, and leave it at that for those who might not know or might be curious about it. So yeah, I personally don't like discussing that online. I don't really think it's very appropriate, especially because I have friends and family that are watching this. But there it is for informational purposes. Coarser skin. Again, no real evidence. No scientific evidence. It's only anecdotal. But for me, I haven't had any coarser skin like some have reported. I often get complimented, actually, that my skin is still really soft. So, yeah, there's that. So next we have muscle mass and strength. And considering I haven't properly worked out in a few months now, I am surprised at how muscular I still am. I think, again, this is genetics. My dad is just big, despite not like actively working out. Just general living has a tendency to grow my muscle. And with the muscle memory I have from when I was really fit, it doesn't take that much. And I think that's why I keep having tendon issues, which is what's stopping me from working out consistently, because I keep getting really bad wrist issues, sudden shin splints, things like that. Hopefully, as time continues on, now that it's been a while and we have, the onset and maximum effect numbers, my tendons over the next year on T will stretch out and catch up with my muscle growth. So I really am looking forward to this year because I really think I'm going to finally start thinning out. We also have the fat redistribution. The fat redistribution is well on its way. Again, I think this year is when I'm going to see some of the biggest changes in this area. I think the maximum effect is 2 to 5 years for this category. As that really takes hold, I'm excited about it because I'm still quite a bit bigger than I want to be. So I've got to be able to give myself that grace. Next, we have skin oiliness and acne. It's definitely an ongoing battle. I have days where the breakouts aren't so bad, and then suddenly they'll be terrible, even though my routine hasn't changed. So I've been having a really, really bad breakout, I think, from surgery and because I wasn't able to maintain a particular routine that I'm used to doing at home. And now I'm getting back to it. Now the acne is clearing back up, so that's good. The next category that I think a lot of trans men look forward to, cessation of the menses. And I have not had a cycle since I was on T for 2 months. And yeah, that was one of the areas of dysphoria for me. So I am stoked that I have still yet to have a cycle. So that just about covers it in terms of what the data tables talk about, and then a couple of those other trans men reports about that they generally report about their transition. Overall, I am so pleased with how everything is going. And don't get me wrong, there are hard and difficult things, especially in social ways, which I heard talked about, but I wasn't sure how I'd experience it or react to it. And I'll give you an example, right? So how women interact with me in passing, how they'll cross the street if they're alone and they see me coming. Those are difficult things because I know I'm safe, but the fact that fear is there, it just breaks my heart. Like, I knew it existed because, I felt that fear myself and still do. If I feel like I'm not going to pass when I'm surrounded by other men. But it's still different when you are the one that they're fearing. And it's no wonder that men who know themselves to be safe get so sad and so angry and frustrated, not at women, but at other men who've caused that fear. Another thing that gets brought up is things like imposter syndrome, and I don't really think I've experienced that much. I haven't experienced much of that yet. Even when I identified as a lesbian, I was one of the guys, so I don't know if I'll experience that much in a way that affects me for long. But I don't know. Only time will tell. So this last year, I would have to say, has taught me a lot about myself, a lot about the world, a lot about what it is to be trans, uh, and Christian first, really. And I've grown exponentially. I mean, with the hormone treatments continuing, with top surgery behind me, aside from the ongoing healing, of course, I feel like I can finally just live and be me, and let that transness just be a piece of who I am again, not a main focal focus. And it's really as simple as that. I mean, I just want to live and work, and work on my fitness goals. So I'll continue to, um, improve and deal with my dysphoria in healthy ways. So I'm not saying I'm not going to continue the videos. I absolutely am. In the climate that we're in, to continue to make positive trans videos for people that are out there who might want to learn more about it, and to create empathy and compassion, and to support other trans men, or trans women, even, to show that we're not going anywhere, we're not disappearing, we're not going to be scared off by what's happening in the climate around us. If anything, it makes me stand firmer in staying present and here and visible. And so I do want to take these videos, obviously, from a place of going over my trans updates, because now we're not going to see a huge amount of change like every month. I'm probably only going to do this, one, maybe biannually. Maybe the next time I do it will be a year and a half on testosterone. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I do want to do other videos like the interview with my wife, and maybe talking about being trans and Christian, maybe doing reactions to things, and maybe I'll even talk about my fitness progress, what I'm doing that works. And please let me know what else you would actually like to see, because you're the one following me, and you're who I'm here for. So please, write it in the comments. Let me know what you want to see and what you want to hear about, and I'll try to fulfill those requests. So as we finish up, I want to just thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe below, and hit that bell if you'd like the notifications to let you know when my videos are newly available. I am trying to do the premiere videos, so please feel free to watch the video with me and make comments, or have discussion throughout the video. If you have additional questions, I can answer them live. So that'll be kind of cool if you want to participate in that. So that's about it. I will catch you next time. Peace.